I am a child of God, and I
Come on.
want to bring that into the beauty industry. And
Mm.
it was just talking about like how you yourself, you create your reality. If you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you won't, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
thought about it, I wrote it down, and then I started thinking about names. Okay, like anointed hair care, anointed skincare, anointed what?
Mm-hmm.
And anointed beauty came.
What's going on, Juneteenth family? Welcome to another edition of the Lunch and Learn Session. I am your host, Kiara, aka AMBG. As always, we bring you nothing but the best. We have a guest today that is amazing within herself. Who am I talking about? I am talking about my girl, Floranse Cyriaque. She's also known as Flo. Okay, I was about to say we call her Flo. She's known as Flo. Flo is talented. She's a talented professional behind Braided by Flo. Okay, a thriving hair braiding business in New York. Since 2020, she's been known for her lightweight and versatile braids, fork locks, and twists. Okay, today she will share her expertise on plant powered. Let me say that right. Plant powered. There we go. Beauty products through her brand Anointed Beauty. I love that name. I can't wait to get into that. She's passionate about helping the curly and kinky community embrace their natural beauty with herbal and botanical hair care solutions. Let's bring Flo up to the stage, please.
Uh,
How are
that was
you?
beautiful. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Listen, I'm good. I was looking at your curls. I said, no, yeah, we're gonna definitely have to have. I got to get these
I love the
curls
color.
right. I gotta get it right. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Before we jump into everything, I want to give you an opportunity just to give us some background on you and who is Flo.
Okay, so you already spoke about what I do as a career. So I am a
Mhm.
hairstylist, a protective hairstylist that does faux locks, braids, and twists. I actually started doing it on myself. I had to be like maybe 13, 14 when I started doing my own hair. And that's just how I got into the protective styling. But aside from that, I am 25 years old. I'm Haitian. My parents are Haitian, so I definitely am Caribbean. And aside from that, I am a child of God, and I
Come on.
want to bring that into the beauty industry.
Oh,
That's
I
the
love
main
it. I love it. I love it. When I was reading your bio, I said, "Oh, Anointed Beauty." I love that name within itself. I
right.
want right to that. Um, what inspired you to come up with the name Anointed Beauty? And of course, being a child of God, we could understand what that means. But I want you to tell me the meaning behind it for you.
Mhm. So the name of the business before, so I started braiding professionally in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I started the hair care line. I had the idea already because I was already making my own hair care for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a name for it before, and it was gonna be Deeply Golden.
Okay.
But I kept it on the back burner because I'm just like, I'm not really feeling it like that, right? So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, God, just it's nice, but I need something that's going to speak for itself, you know?
Yeah.
So going deeper and deeper into my faith, I was actually watching a sermon series called Anointed Imagination. And it
Mm-hmm.
was just talking about like how you yourself, you create your reality. If you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you won't, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and it was talking about that. So after I finished watching that sermon, I sat down and I literally took my journal and I wrote down everything that I could ever imagine, that I could ever want, because it says, with God, go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
He will exceed your expectations. So I started writing everything. I started writing about this beauty brand. Of course, I do hair, but I would like it to be something much bigger than that, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, God, like I need a name. I need a name that's going to speak for itself, that's going to stand up and say something just when somebody
Mm-hmm.
hears it, right? Or a name that's going to spark interest. Like, what does that mean? Like, what is this, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm talking to God, just in my room, and I'm looking up in the ceiling, just like, daydreaming and stuff like that. And I feel something telling me to look down. So I
Mm-hmm.
look down at my page directly, and it's the word anointed that my eyes goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but sometimes when God answers you, you're just like, are you sure?
Girl, girl,
Are you sure
girl.
that's like anointed? Like,
Yeah.
okay. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought about it, I wrote it down. And then I started thinking about names. Okay, like anointed hair care, anointed skincare, anointed what?
Mm-hmm.
Then anointed beauty came. And honestly, then, because everything about hair right now, but like I said, I would like it to be ideally to glorify God and just who we
Yeah.
are being in our anointing in God. So anointed beauty really hit me. And I was just like, all right, that's the one. All right, God,
Nah,
thank you.
that another one check. He did it again. Won't he do it? He did it.
Exactly.
Listen,
I was like, wow.
as you're
Wow.
saying this, it just comes to my head. Now unto him who's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can ask, think, or imagine. That's as long as you have the vision. If all you gotta do is ask, and he'll point you in a direction. So that story within itself is beautiful. And when I think about beauty, I think about life. I think about,
Mm,
just the aspect of everything of ourselves as individuals. This life,
mhm.
being in your skin, being in your body, being it's more than just your face, it's more than just your hair. So
Yes.
when I saw that name, I'm like, ooh, like it's so
Mhm.
deep. And I'm like, just what you saying, I wanted to be more than beauty. Girl, you got one with that one, because it automatically brings the thought of like, ooh, that's now I want to know more about that. That's deep,
Right.
and even with it being, hair care and a beauty line, it's like, okay, but I can absolutely see you continuing to grow it, just as a service to serve what being anointed really means. So I think that's amazing. And to be bossing at 25 doing that, that's super dope. So pat on the
Thank
back,
you.
pat yourself on the
Thank
back for
you.
that one. Pat yourself on the back for that one. So okay, so 2020, that's still kind of pandemic era, right? That's like
Oh, no, that's
post
right
pandemic,
in there.
right? That's pandemic,
Yeah.
right? So we in the pandemic, and you like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing hair. Like, what was that? That was just like, I gotta figure something out. That mean people was hitting you up for the braids. Like, how? What happened?
So that's a whole story in itself too, because the how I even got into doing braids. I was 21. I was working at a
Mm-hmm.
financial office prior to braiding, and I was doing really good. Ideally, I would have been the first vice president in the office. That's how good I was doing. But I don't know if you ever felt this where, everyone around you is happy and you know that you should be happy too, but for some reason you're not. I was doing everything by the book. I was making the money. I had the team. I had everything, but I would felt like I was missing something. And at 21, I thought I was going through like a midlife crisis. I'm just like, God, like what is going on? Why do I feel so detached? Right? So I met my boyfriend at that time, and I'm talking to him about it, and he's basically telling me to like, yeah, you got to go to God, you got to pray on it. Let's go to church. So we're going to church together. We're hearing the pastor speak, and it's like he's speaking directly to my situation.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, God is telling me to leave, right? And that was very hard to hear in the moment because, just like I said, I was about to be the vice president. All these things were going to happen, right? I thought, I was about to be set, right? So for God to tell me to leave, that was really hard to hear. But a few months, I ended up leaving. And like I said, I was already doing my own hair, but I
Mm-hmm.
actually had one of my friends that I used to dance with back in high school. She asked me to come do her hair because she's gonna I forgot where she was going, but she was going somewhere. She asked me to do her
Mm-hmm.
hair, and I came to do her hair. I was like, whatever, I need the money anyways. I have no job, I have nothing. Let
Mm-hmm.
me do your hair. Right? So I did her hair, and my boyfriend came to pick me up, and he's asking me questions. Long story short, he tells me, "Why don't you start doing hair?" And I'm just like, "Do hair? Like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I gonna do
Mm-hmm.
that?" He asked me, "Well, where did you do hair last time?" I was like, "In my mom's living room."
Right.
That's we pulled up a chair. I did her hair. He was like,
Right.
"So then do it here. What's the problem with
Right.
that?" And I'm just like, "Oh,
Okay. This might be
people's
it. I
gonna come
might.
to my living room?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are people really about to do that?" Because I'm thinking, that's not professional.
Yeah.
I need a
Yeah.
salon. I need a suite. I need something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, people really about to come to my mom's living room? My boyfriend was like, "Yeah, you're good. Like, you actually have the talent. Like, people will come where
Yeah.
there's good service." So I was like, "All right, all right." So I started the social media account for it, and
Mm-hmm.
people started coming to my mom's living room. Literally,
Listen.
people started coming to my mom's living
Listen.
room.
Trust. Trust the process.
Listen,
Okay. Trust the process.
that's the
Just because
process.
I can relate so much with you just saying, like, when you ideally have quote unquote like things perfectly set up. You got the job, you got,
Hmm.
but if you're not happy in that, that's just like people say all the time, money can't buy happiness. That's real. Of just like you
Exactly.
can be aligned with so much that you may have thought you wanted, but it's not
Hmm.
bringing you the peace that you need, or it's not bringing you the happiness that you need. And choosing and trusting and just standing on, you know what, I'm a lead. That the courage that it takes to do that.
Girl, that's why I said it took me a couple months because I'm just like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah. The
But
courage that it takes to do that within
oh,
itself, I
thank
think
God.
that builds the business right there. Because if you could stand on I'ma do this, I don't have any other option but to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta put all my, if I'ma do this, I gotta do it, and it gotta be the best. It has
Girl,
to be the
I was braiding from
so
morning to night, morning to night. Ooh, I was tired, but I was grateful. You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the hair line came involved because some of my clients were complaining to me about like how their hair is too rough, their hair is too much to manage, their hair is
Mm-hmm.
dry, their hair is it's breaking, it's weak, and all that stuff. And I'm telling them, well, you don't have to do that. Just go get some aloe vera from the farmers market, put that in your hair. And they're like, aloe vera? I'm like, yeah, go get some herbs, put it in the oil, just do that. So I'm telling them these like simple herbal, botanical solutions, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know it was that simple."
Right.
So I started making it for him. I started making it for them, and they loved it, and it just grew and got bigger like that.
Come on, son.
Yeah.
I
So
always
very
say, you don't know what you don't know. So you just putting them on to something as simple as that is like, hold on, I have here's supply and demand right now. I got something that people need that they may
mhm.
not even know that they need,
I didn't
and
even
I
know.
know, and I
Hmm.
need to let them
I
know
had to
that this
learn
is
too because, like I said, with my natural hair, I felt the same way. So I had to learn those herbal stuff for myself. I was trying to fix my own dryness and my own breakage and all that
yeah.
stuff.
So
It's
how
a
do you
journey.
let me just dive into that with
Okay.
understanding our hair as black girls, black women, and it's it's challenging, right?
Mhm.
We have things that we see. We want our hair to look like this. I want my hair to be straight, or I want it to look like this. I want to have this curl. I'm trying this. I'm trying that. And it's like, okay, what we doing here? Like, how do we really
Mhm.
identify with figuring out, our texture, figuring out, our curl pattern? How do we figure out what's needed? What do we need to? What are the essential things that you need to know about your hair to understand what is lacking, what you need, what you're missing, all of that kind of good stuff.
Mhm. Okay. So I would say first things first. In the Bible, it talks about you need to be transformed by the renewal of your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first things first is getting out of the mind or the mental state that our hair is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Growing up as black, black girls or just girls with kinky curly hair, we think that our hair is not good. We think that it's not beautiful. We think that it can't do too much. You know what I mean? So just coming out of that mindset first, and
Mm-hmm.
then we can move on to learning your hair and listening to your hair when your hair talks. I tell my clients all the time, your hair talks. Are you listening to it or are you
Yeah.
ignoring it? Okay. When you leave it in this style for X amount of months and your hair feels very brittle and weak and, very dull, your hair is telling you that, hello, I need help. I need some
Mm-hmm.
moisture. I need some water. Right. So, whatever that your hair is telling you, you need to be listening to that.
Yes.
So, it's the mindset, it's listening to your hair. I would also say, too, it's all about being patient. I know that we live in a society where, we want things now.
Instantaneous. Yeah. Yes.
But when you're transitioning or when you're embarking on this natural hair journey, like you really need to give your hair some patience, just like you would give your daughter or you would give your
Mm-hmm.
son. You don't expect him to be a grown man in a month,
Yeah.
so you have to give your hair that time and that consistent nurture to grow and to do what you want it to do, ideally, right? Um, there's a lot of stuff I can get into. There's something called a moisture cycle. Us kinky curly girls or men, we have naturally dry hair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you know how Caucasians, they have naturally oily hair. So
Mm-hmm.
they wash their hair as many times a week as they need to because they need to remove that oil. So
Yeah.
because we're the opposite, our hair is naturally dry, we all have something called a moisture cycle. And what
Mm-hmm.
that basically is how long does it take for your natural hair to revert back to being dry once you moisturize it? Very.
Mm.
So let's say
Yeah.
that I moisturized my hair today, right? It's looking really cute and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But my moisture cycle ideally is anywhere from 3 to 4 days.
Got it.
So in 3 to 4 days, my hair is gonna look dull. It's gonna look, like it needs some
Mm-hmm.
water. It's parched. So you go back in with your moisturizing products, and that's how you can be consistent. Everybody's different. Your moisture cycle can change depending on the weather, depending on how active you are. If you sweat a lot, of course, your scalp will be not as dry as often. But
Yeah.
all those terms can, and also, how could I forget this? Your hair porosity. Have you heard
Okay.
about hair porosity before?
No. Put me on.
No. So hair porosity, I would say majority of kinky curly girls, we have a low porosity hair type. And that
Okay.
just means that our hair likes lightweight products.
Got
Anything
it.
heavy is going to weigh it down. It's going to make it feel greasy. So when you know that, high porosity is the opposite. So if you have high
Mm-hmm.
porosity hair, you will want more so of the thicker products.
Yeah.
But since majority of us do have low porosity hair, you want to go for lightweight oils, lightweight creams, lightweight butters, or just anything that's lightweight so that it can actually penetrate
Mm-hmm.
into the hair shaft and not just sit on top.
Got it.
So once you know that, now you have a guide to what products you're looking for. And then once you have your products with the moisture cycle, now you have a guide on how often to be doing this.
Use it.
And
Yeah.
again, once you're consistent, your hair will tell you, like, ooh, I'm feeling good today. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I did my hair is telling me, Flo, you did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Okay.
came ready. Slaying today. Slaying
Right.
today.
So your hair will let you know. And then for my girls too that are color treated, like you color treat your hair, it's
Mm-hmm.
basically the same thing. It's just that sometimes depending on, the color that you have, maybe your moisture cycle is shorter.
Yeah.
So, it's just using those oils and being consistent, using those moisturizing products. My apologies, and being consistent.
No, that's definitely key information. Even as I know growing up, It was my younger sisters, they have different textures and we
Yeah.
different moms. So it was like, okay, I may have seen my stepmother doing their hair using certain products, and I would use certain products because this is what I'm using at home. So now I'm bringing my grease or, my oils, and I'm seeing them use that, and I'm like, well, wait,
Right. That's working for you?
like, right, like I want my hair to slick down like that, or I want to
Exactly.
be able. So just understanding, you broke that down, and it really makes sense. And even thinking about water with our hair, right? It was very much growing up again. You're not putting no water in your hair. No, you need some grease. So you need. But
Mhm.
now, even with my daughter, I'm like, no, her hair needs some water. Like
Hydration.
she needs
Right.
some hydration,
Well,
and I see a major difference in when I use, water and when I don't. So I'm like, you talking about the hair porosity? I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because when I use certain products, if I use something that's lighter, I've noticed that her hair stays longer, it lasts longer, like it'll hold the moisture longer and things like that. So just understanding, and can we talk about the need for water in our hair, and why that goes over our heads sometimes,
mm-hmm.
with just the things that we may have been taught or thought over the
Right.
past years.
Right. So that's so true. Because like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm Haitian, Caribbean, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we were always about, using oils,
Yeah.
using to moisturize our hair, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's true. There are some oils that can help to moisturize your hair. However, it's usually what oils are used for, or even butters, what they're used for is to seal in moisture. That's
Mm.
the main priority of it, right? So you can't seal in moisture if you don't have moisture to seal in,
Right.
So
Right.
that's where the hydration comes into play, right? One of my products, and I'll show you right here, it's called the Revival, Strengthen, and Growth Hydrosol.
Mm-hmm.
Hydrosol is a very fancy word for herbal water. That's all this is, girl. You can make this in your kitchen, okay? This is cloves, organic cloves,
Mm-hmm.
rosemary, and sage. You boil it, you boil your water, you let that come to you boil your water. Once it's boiling, you turn it off. And then you
Mm-hmm.
put your herbs in there. You put your cloves, your rosemary, your sage. You let it sit overnight. And then in the morning, you take it, you drain it, you use the water on your scalp. So this
Mm-hmm.
would be, in a sense, a replacement for your leave-in conditioner.
Got it.
And because it's a water, it's going to leave you with the moisture. I mean, it's going to give you that hydration. But the cloves, the rosemary, and the sage, those three combined is going to help to thicken, strengthen, stimulate growth in your
Mm-hmm.
hair, and also to darken your hair too. Sage is really good for just helping the natural color of your hair be more vivid. I don't
Mm.
know if you ever seen some people, their hair is just dull. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
that their hair is dry or anything. It's just that we need that color to pop again.
Right.
Sage will
Right.
help with that. So this is very lightweight. This will help to hydrate your hair first, and
Mm-hmm.
then you'll go in with your cream, your butter, or your oil. There's this method called LCO or LOC method.
Mm-hmm.
The L stands for liquid or leave-in conditioner.
Mm-hmm.
The O stands for oil, and the C stands for cream, or I mean, you could put a butter in there, but it depends on what you have.
What? Mm-hmm.
So LCO or LOC, and that's just a quick abbreviation of how you can put together a moisture routine for yourself. So this would be the L, right? The
Mm-hmm.
liquid. And then you can either put your cream or a butter that you like that's lightweight, again, if you have a low porosity hair. And then you can put your oil on top. This is the oil that I have. It's an Ayurvedic triple herb oil. So it has all that earthly goodness in there. I'm a firm believer that God put everything on this earth that
Listen.
we
Listen.
so let me
I
keep the
agree.
synthetic stuff. Let me get what was there in the Garden of Eden, okay?
Yeah. And that makes all of the difference as well, even with just changing, um, even our diets. You know,
Mm,
noticing that when I change what I eat, my skin glows different, my hair grows different, my nails are grow, you know. So just really paying attention to, just like you said, what was put here for us, these herbs, these spices, these different products that been watered down and diluted and, you know, medicated, and it's like, yeah, nah, you know, it can look the best, have the best, you know, banner or cover, but it's not good for us. Period.
And then, yeah, and then nothing worthwhile will be given to you instantly. You know, I forgot the saying. It says something like that. But you know, like, you need to be consistent. You need to put nurture into it for you to actually get the result, so you can bear the fruit, and then, you know, it would last. Nothing that you get so quickly is gonna last. And I feel like we, in this generation specifically, like, we need to understand that. Like, stop with this, you know, my hair grew this long in a month. Like, what? I don't even want to know what you did, because how did that even go? Like, stop with that. Stop trying to do a shortcut. Just be real. Be real.
Just go with flow, okay?
There we go.
She trying to tell you, just go with the flow, for real. So talking about braiding and doing locks, and what are some of the techniques that you use? Because when I think about it, and even in that time frame when we were all inside during the pandemic, and everybody was like, you know, tapping into their inner talent. So it was like a million people that's braiding now, and a million people that's, you know, making music now, and it was just oversaturated with everything. But really just honing in on what makes you different, as far as, and I love this, because when I ride through the neighborhood, sometimes I'm like, you know what, it's really room for everybody to do what they want to do in their own individual way. It's a million pizza shops. But that doesn't change the fact that pizza is still pizza. You know, it just, maybe this shop add a little bit of a different ingredient, or, you know, make it a little bit different. How I do it is a little bit different. Exactly. So how do we, what techniques or secrets that you may want to share today, that you just, you know, implement in the things that you do, whether it's braiding, whether it's actually doing hair, whether it's your products? How do you go about creating?
So when my clients come in and I'm doing their hair, I treat their hair like it's my hair. And I think that's what kind of gives me a different perspective from everything. And I also feel like, because I did the work with my hair too, like, I know that I don't want my hair to have tension. I know that I need it to be lightweight. I know that I need it to help me with my hair growth and all that stuff. So when I come in from that perspective and I'm doing my client's hair, the three things about the styles that I do, whether it's braids, locks, or twists, one is that it's lightweight. Two is that it's tension free. So your natural hair will be able to grow freely without being pulled or dragged down, right? And then thirdly is for it to be versatile. You mentioned it before, us Black women. And honestly, I feel like our hair has the most, like, our hair is very unique. We can do so much.
We can do anything for real.
You know what I mean? Like, our hair can really take whatever we're trying to do, you know, whether it's straight, whether it's curly, whether it's whatever that we're trying to do. But right. So with it being versatile, you know, you can still have all the fun you want to have. You know, you could still be this today and another woman tomorrow with a different hairstyle. You know, you can still do, because I feel like that's a part of us. That's a part of our culture. We can't really come out from that. Even like back in the day, back in Africa, like, if you see those photos, like, we was doing some other stuff.
It's amazing that just the level of creativity and innovation that we have as a
Right.
people when it, especially when it comes to our hairstyle,
Mhm.
is like, I don't even think that's good enough for the creativity that we put into design, and it's
Mhm.
really, it speaks volume on character, it speaks volume on just, free out. It's a form of freedom to me, freedom of expression, and really how we, like, just myself, some days I might be blonde, some days I might let the black grow back, some days I want to
Exactly.
be, I want to be pink. And I've decided, it took me a while to get to this stage and say, you know what, I'm gonna just trust it. I'm gonna cut it all off. I'm gonna see, I'm gonna see how I look,
But
because
you could
I've
do that.
done so many
Right.
different things, and I'm like, you know what, I want to do that. I want to be able. I had a shortcut that was, maybe like a pixie cut or certain other things, and I'm like, say hello if you want to say hello real quick.
Hi.
Now you get shy. Okay, cool. So I've had the opportunity to do so many different things. I say, you know what? I want to do color. I want to be able to do color, but I know I'm not going to be able to dye my hair if I have it long or with certain length. I'm like, the process of doing that, I would really only be able to do that as frequent when I do have a shortcut, because I'm constantly cutting it off. It's constantly being able to, revive itself from me putting those chemicals or whatever. So I want to ask you personally, for myself,
Mhm.
the damage that may be done with, like, dyeing or rinsing or coloring your hair. How can we kind of prevent that, if that's something that's preventative, or how can we, what's the healthiest way to take care of your hair,
Mhm.
if you are going to do those kind of things? um yeah.
Okay. So personally, I don't do that, but I do have an integrity hairstylist, and she
Mm-hmm.
does dye hair, right? So from what she has told me in the past, I would say that one, you would definitely want to do your due diligence and find a person that knows what they're doing, because that can make all the difference. Your hair can still be healthy even though it's colored, you know? So definitely having that person that knows what they're doing. And that, I mean, personally for me, I like when my stylist walks me through the process. Okay, I'm doing this, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this because of this. Like, I want to know that you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely with that. And then two, I would say, of course, that helps. Well, that adds to the dryness of your hair already. So I would say really being on top of your moisture routine, and making sure that your hair is moisturized. And whether it's using an oil or whether it's using a butter, um, because that's really what's causing the breakage that some people are experiencing, or causing the thinning of your hair after you do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
Mm-hmm.
making sure that the moisture is there and the person who did your hair knows what they're doing. I would say those two things.
Absolutely, absolutely. It just brought me to think about asking you, what's your favorite part of the journey when you're working on somebody hair? And for yourself, what's your favorite part of your hair journey, and what's your favorite part of, working on somebody else's hair and seeing the process?
So I have two answers for that. Well, yes, I have two that came up to mind. Um, for me personally, is seeing their hair flourish. When they come back to me and their hair is longer than it was before, or it's thicker than it was before, or um, I always ask them, how did the hairstyle treat you?
Yeah,
And they tell
I
me,
like
oh, it was so easy
like
to take
that.
out, or I barely experienced any shedding, or it was great. Everybody was complimenting, all those things. I love that. I love that. However, I feel like for the client, one of my best things to see within themselves is that they're realizing that they can, after we're done with the style, and they see, like, like, your hair can do this. You can
Yeah,
do this. You don't have to, limit
it's
yourself.
possible, right?
Right,
It's possible.
right. Don't act like you can't have healthy hair, but still, have braids and do your stuff. Of course, you want to, take your time with it, do it in moderation, but you can still do this. It's not a wrap for you. Some of my clients, well, for me to braid your hair, all I need is 2 inches, right? So once you have 2 inches, we can get all the styles you want.
I can catch that. I feel it.
So yeah, those are the two things I would say.
No, that's dope. That's dope. And what would you say as far as building? What are some of the things that you've learned as far as building business? So you started in mommy's living room to now being at the peak of where you are now. How has that transition and that evolution of business? How was that? How was that for you? How is that going? What are you thinking?
So in the beginning, I didn't know anything about business owning, about entrepreneurship. I didn't know. I was just winging it, honestly. But as the years went on, customer service, very important. Letting your clients know that you care and it's not just another dollar sign, like, or working with them if they need some type of assistance or whatever it is. So customer service and knowing that they can rely on me. If you need me, I'm there. So customer service, professionalism too. Of course, in any business, you come across clients or just people in general that aren't nice all the time. So understanding how to, it's okay. Understanding just how to communicate with them. I've learned that you can be respectful, but still put somebody in their place. Right. I had to learn that.
That's major key. Yeah, that's the major key right there.
Because I'm not too much of a confrontational person, but if your boundaries is being crossed, you need to be able to, speak up for yourself. So I definitely learned that you can still be respectful, but let somebody know like you're crossing a line. And let me see. I would say with the back end of business, I learned how to put my business, like put my papers in order, whether that's being an LLC, whether that's getting your name trademarked. A lot of my clients, and I'm very, very grateful for them, they pour into me and they tell me, like they give me advice on like what I could be doing to expand the business and everything, or just to make it more legit. So I'm very grateful for that, because even with the trademark, I had no idea about doing a trademark. But one of my clients, she's a lawyer, and she told me like, yeah, you should do that.
Yeah.
Actually, you need to do that now. Yeah. So yeah. So little by little, I'm learning more and more and more, even how to manage the money and everything, learning more and more and more.
And all of those things, all of those aspects are key, especially in, because like yourself, I started my business maybe at 25. I started my business.
Oh, cool.
That's super cool that you're 25 and you're
right.
But at that age, I started and I trusted the process. I quit both my jobs and I said, you know what, I want to do this full time, but really with no guidance on what I was doing, just a dream and direction and trust in God. But you learn as time goes on, you learn who your avatar is, you learn who your client is. How do you satisfy this client? What does my product bring as a solution to their problem? How can I relay that message? How can I keep these clients returning? It's one thing to have a client, but if you have somebody they never come back to you again, it's like, okay, what I have to produce
exactly
people it's a need for, and that stop. And that within itself is really important, and just balancing. As you see, I'm trying to balance right now,
right.
Mom life and work life, but just creating a balance of this is I keep my personal and business separate, learning money and learning that I can't just have one account. This all can't come into my personal account. This has to be like just learning all of those things it makes or breaks a business, and really just building the foundation. And I've learned this in different courses that I took, but just building a solid foundation. If you build a foundation correctly, you can always rebuild and, on top of it. But once the foundation of a business is done, you can always remodel it or, renovate it or whatever in that kind of aspect. So I think that those things that you mentioned, they're all super important. And
Continuous learning.
Yes, always remain teachable for real, and be open.
You never know everything.
Yep. And talking about trends, and talking about, give me a second, and talking about trends, and talking about just the world that we live in. It's always a new trend tomorrow, or this is what people are doing. This is the way they braid it now. This is the different tech. Like, so what are some of your favorite trends, if you do follow any, as far as like styles, or like, okay, this is in now, like everybody's into the curls now, or everybody's in, like, what's booming in the hair business? What does everybody want now? Are we doing more braids now? Like, is it how is that working?
So at the end of the day, my goal is to be authentic to myself, right? So with that being said, the trends that I follow is definitely something that I believe that I can do, and I'm not just doing it to follow somebody else, if that makes sense. But right now, the style that is booming, I would say, would be the braids with the curls all over, and it's beautiful. Girls get it in short bobs. Girls get it all the way down to their butt. Girls, it's the vacation style. It's a summer style, a winter. It's an everyday style, and it's really pretty. So I think that's the main thing that's most of my clients are asking for, and we do it in so many colors. One of my clients, she is my skin tone, and she was trying like a brown ginger color. She was kind of scared, but I'm just like, girl, we could do this, okay? We could do this together.
Right.
And it came out amazing. You can see it on my Instagram, but it came out very beautiful. She actually went to Italy with that style, turning heads everywhere.
Come on now. Flo in Italy. Come on, but I hope she has the Instagram, the card, something to say, listen, my girl, she in New York, but go check her out because she'll get you right. Yes. Those are definitely moments, and I can imagine, the joy it brings when you see your clients just looking good, like they feeling good, they looking good, because a hair appointment could change your life. Like, that could change. Can you stop? But Mom, you got a little. Oh, thank you. I have some. Thank you. Thank you. A haircut, or a hair appointment, that changes how you feel about yourself. So when you see somebody just flourishing and feeling, and especially on vacation time, now you at your best. So if you looking good, you feeling good. If you feeling good, everything is good. So that's always great. Where do you see break? No, go ahead. I'll accept.
I was gonna say that, to add on to that, and yes, their confidence is through the roof. But I would always like to tell them, like, it is you that makes the style, not the style that makes you, right? So yes, your confidence is through the roof, you're doing all this stuff, but understand that it is you that's doing this, okay? Your hair could change tomorrow, anything could change, but you have that light, you have that radiance, that spark within yourself. And you could bring that to anything that you do, okay? Don't let the hair define you. And, I try to help them remember that, because even for myself, I need to remember that too,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. We all need that. And I was going to ask, in future and upcoming goals for Braided by Flo or Anointed Beauty, what do you see? How do you see the company expanding, continuing to grow? What are some of your plans? The ones that you want to share. You ain't got to share the ones that that's
it's okay. because there's some that's just between me and God. But I would say that I would like to expand. I definitely would like to um, help other people just learn the basics of hair and learn the basics of braiding, because I feel like braiding is a very like fundamental thing. Like even if you're not braiding professionally, to braid your daughter's hair or to braid your sister's hair or just to learn how to braid your hair sometimes when you don't want to drop 200 on a style, or whatever it is. So I
Yeah.
definitely want to expand in teaching people how to do that and teaching them how to do it in a way that can still be beneficial to your hair. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to protective styles, most of these horror stories, is about the protective style being too tight or being too heavy or, just not helping you with your hair journey. So I would like to take a holistic approach to that and show them that, yes, you can actually use it to your advantage. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
And then with Anointed Beauty, right now it's hair care products, but I would definitely like to expand into skincare, and just into letting women know of all colors. It doesn't matter, but just helping women know that your beauty, like you define what beauty is. Beauty is not like just this one box where everybody has to fit in.
Yeah.
Like you define what beauty is to you. So there's no need for you to be insecure. There's no need for you to be fearful of anything like that. Like your
Mm-hmm.
beauty is your, who cares if anybody sees it like that? But I feel like also with the name anointed, to me, it means that you're chosen, right? So chosen beauty. What is your chosen beauty?
Come
What do
on.
you identify it as?
Come on. Give us a
So
word today, Flo.
yeah,
Come on. No, seriously. Yes. What's your chosen beauty? I love that. That's real.
yeah.
That's real.
So and then God will take it from there. But yeah.
Okay. 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 Um, given learning, given just showing up and being there for other people, how do you pour back into yourself? What are some of your self-care remedies, or how do you take care of yourself outside of helping people
Mhm.
take care of their hair and just feeling good and pouring that anointing onto people? How do you pour back into
Mhm.
them?
So that's actually something that I struggled with, because when I first started doing the business, I was doing, well, I don't want to say I was doing everything for the client, but the client definitely came first because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make sure that they were set, right?
Yes.
I would say in the last year or so, um, my number one priority is getting into my word and making sure that it is God that's giving me my identity. It is God that's giving me my purpose. It is God that's giving me my security. I feel like as a woman, that's very important, because in this world that we live in, we can just scroll on Instagram and Instagram will tell you, oh, no, you should be doing this. You should look like
Yeah.
this. You should.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, what is God telling me to do? So
Yeah.
I've been within the past year, I've been doing my best to make that a priority in my life, to get all that, to get my validation from God,
Mm.
to get from my God ordained virgin. Like, who is that? Who is Flo? Who
Mm-hmm.
is the Flo that God knew before I was even born?
Mm-hmm.
I want that. So
Yeah.
that's number one. And then number two, one of the things with Braided by Flo is that I braid pretty fast. So I can get your style done in 3 to 4 hours, most likely less than that, but three
Uh-huh.
to four hours, whether it's braids, locks, or twists, right? So my clients love that. They can literally come here, go to work later, or come here, take their flight later, or
Be
come
in and
here
out.
and, just have the whole day, right? So I work fast. And one of the things that I realized about myself is that I do everything fast, if that makes sense. Like I'm just, especially if I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing, like I'm just going
Yes.
through it. Even if it's washing
Mm-hmm.
dishes, like I'm just going fast. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I realized with myself, to give myself more self awareness, is just to slow down, be present in the time, enjoy what I'm doing, and to to be in the moment, whether if it's like folding clothes or whatever it is, just be in the
Yeah.
moment, and not just rush through everything. I know for business that's great, and my clients love that. I love that too. You know, I could get them in and out. But in life in general, I like to, especially in the mornings, I love the mornings. Just to sit there, whether if I'm like meditating or just reading a book, just like
Yeah.
have some slow down time.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like has been helping me a lot with my mental health, with my emotional health, even with my spiritual health, just taking it easy. Like I
Oh,
don't
I
have to
love
be at the
it.
world all the time.
I love that for you because I feel like that's not only a you thing, that's something that us, just as you started off by saying, us women as a whole, we struggle with, especially entrepreneurs or business owners, or just the working class person
Hmm.
that we're constantly, you know, I'm gonna go. All right, this gotta go. I gotta hit this by this
Right.
time. I gotta do this before lunchtime. I gotta do it. Like our day is almost programmed to be robotic and move in such a fast pace. Like, how fast can you get this done? How fast? Okay, I got that. Like, but just really, you said something that's super important: being in the moment, right? And even if that's taking a few minutes out your day to be in your word, or to just meditate, or just to be quiet. Like, that's
Right.
something that I'm working
No.
on for myself, just to,
Yes.
like, I want to just be quiet for a second, like, even if it's just 5 minutes out my day, just to kind of just to breathe for a second. Like, let me really identify with the fact that I'm breathing in and out right now. Like, this
Hmm.
this is this is the moment. This, like, because if I stop breathing, it's done. So
Everything is
we
done.
move so fast without even understanding that, yo, I'm
Right.
I'm actually breathing, like, I'm taking this
Hmm.
all in right now, but really just identifying what we need, and I feel like we often pour out into everybody else. Just I want
Right.
my client
So
to be
much.
happy. I want to get the best rate, and I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to make sure the boyfriend happy. I want to make sure the
Woo.
mom. I want.
Yeah.
And even if people are pouring back into you, it's still like, let me just,
Right.
let
You
me
need to do it
just.
for yourself. Exactly.
You have to do it for yourself, and don't feel guilty about it. That's the thing with
Hmm.
me. Don't feel guilty about it. Like, I create deadlines for myself, and I would normally, like, be ready to beat myself up if, like, how you gonna get that done today? You should have did this. You should have did this a little bit faster.
Right.
But it's like,
Instead of doing
I
this, you
didn't
could have
get
did that.
to it. Wait, give yourself that grace, So what you saying, that I just resonate with that so well, because it's like, yeah, we have to allow ourselves time to be present, to just build on our relationship with God, and in those present moments of, God, I just
Mhm.
I just want to take this time to say thank you right now. I'm
Right.
doing this, but thank you for my hands being able to move this fast, for me to be able to, like, just
Girl.
identifying with the things that we don't necessarily put at a forefront. It's more of
Mhm.
it, just like, oh, I'm able to do this, but you're able to do
Right.
this because
On
that.
autopilot, but who's doing it? Who's
Mm-hmm.
who's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I
In the
love that you said
mornings,
that.
in the mornings in the word, one of the prayers that I asked was to help me desire to seek your face more, right? Help me want to do that. Because in
Yes.
this day of life, you could always say, "Oh, I don't have enough time for it." But if you really want something, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
make time for it. You know what I mean? So with that, and with being in my word, it's so refreshing because you realize that God doesn't want nothing from you.
Yeah.
He just wants your presence. Like
He.
he just wants to be in your presence, or you to be in
Mhm.
his presence. Like he's not asking you to do anything. Like you don't have, man, like I could just chill
Girl.
with you guys.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
I
just
don't
want you.
even need
I
to
want you to
like
want me. That's it. I just want you to want
that's
me.
it. And that in
That's
itself is so refreshing. Like I'm just like, wow, I don't
yes.
even need to
Yes.
act no way. I don't need to do anything.
I can.
Just be here.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's the most beautiful. That's the most beautiful thing that, we were created. And I heard somebody say the other day in the sermon. I actually got the note like literally right in front of my
Let's go,
table.
girl.
God was
Yeah.
innovating when He made you. Your existence is one of one. You are a creation. Like that within itself. I'm like, I'm a creator, but He created everything. He created me. He innovated all of this
Yes.
for it to
And
work
he did it
together.
so like precisely, like
Yes.
like there's
Yes.
nothing that he messed up with. Like
Yes. Yes.
you think
Yes.
Picasso's good? Forget Picasso. Like God did.
Listen, okay, okay. So that
Shoot.
that within itself is beyond powerful, and
Right.
you almost can't fathom to get the right word to express that level of gratitude and just appreciation. But if and it's just like yeah, that's real,
Mhm.
that's real. So
Yeah.
we can have
So
that
you're
conversation all
yeah.
day. We could just the
We
goodness,
really could.
for real, just the goodness within itself, but just the ability to live out these
Mhm.
ideas that He has for us
Mhm.
is what I'm most honored to do. So
Yeah.
I feel it when when you just gave that answer. I felt that, and listen, we here. It's a journey. It is it's a lifelong quest, but it's also discipleship in its entirety. Of we here for a reason. So I want
Mhm.
to give you your flowers and tell you, keep
Oh,
keep
thank
keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on, and
Ooh.
continue to grow, continue to flourish and to flow with everything that you got going on. As we close out the session, I want to ask you, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Mhm. Um, that's a beautiful question because it kind of already ties into all the stuff that we were talking about when it comes to Black beauty
Mm-hmm.
or just beauty in general. I feel like to me, Juneteenth, it celebrates who we are authentically.
Yeah.
When you hear this, when you hear this holiday, it's like, okay, let me be me. Let me bring my culture out. Let me bring
Mm-hmm.
my creations out, or whatever it is that you have that signifies who you are.
Yeah.
Juneteenth definitely celebrates who you are authentically as a Black person,
Yep.
and that is not really done. I mean, it should be every day, but hey,
Hello. Hello.
like
Hello.
walking in, like being who you are outside of what anybody else is saying. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
this holiday because
Listen.
it's the only time where we can, this is me. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to, oh, I don't have to,
Unapologetically. This
right.
is me.
This is me.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm
Yeah.
gonna bask it. I'm gonna
Yep.
flourish. I'm gonna, like,
I'm gonna
yeah.
give it over to you right now. I'm laying it out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's super dope. Super dope. Super dope. Well, definitely. This conversation was refreshing, and as we're talking about God, and I've been in my own space of just creating a better relationship with God. But just this
Mhm.
conversation is just like, nah, yeah. It's just a reminder that absolutely
Yeah.
this is what is very much like-minded people that's on the same quest and doing their own self-healing journey and spiritual journeys. But yeah, it's just a reminder that we're doing it. So I appreciate you for this conversation. I appreciate you for pouring
Mhm.
into our community and us Black women, and just giving us that outlet to share the knowledge, and
Right.
be a service to actually, now let me show you, let me do it for you, let me hook your hair up, let me show you how to get these, like that's what we need. So thank you for that.
Pass it down, exactly.
Yes. Please tell us where we can follow you, where they could come and get their hair done, where they could book an appointment, all of that good stuff. All of that good stuff.
Yes, so you can find me on social media. I would say Instagram and TikTok at Braided by Flo. With the Anointed Beauty, it's anointedbeauty.co. And you can find that on Instagram as well. I'm going to be doing a TikTok for that, but you can do that. Or if you want to get your hair done, you can go straight to braidedbyflo.com. I am in Brooklyn, New York. So if you're ready to do the drive, you won't regret it. You'll leave very, very happy. So
Listen,
yeah, that's the website.
when I start growing it back, I'm gonna come
It's
holler at
2 inches.
you.
It's 2 inches.
I got you. I'm gonna come holler at you for sure, for sure, for sure. Real quick before we get out of here, if you are tuned into this episode and you would like to join our board, we have some openings for the Juneteenth board. We have, can we get that up on the screen? We have some volunteer support. We have co-lead for community partners. We have co-lead for the kids zone. We have event production support, vendor lead, sponsorship lead, fashion show support, and safety and hygiene support. So by joining the board, you'll make a difference. Just as we're talking about today, you will continue to learn and be surrounded by passionate team members. And we're going to continue to put on some exciting events and, bring you the best shows and just continue to celebrate our Black culture. So if you want to tap in,
Yes.
please scan the barcode or visit our website, JuneteenthNY.com. Also, last but not least, we have our back to school event that is taking place August 24th. I will be in the building as your DJ. The event time is 11 to 4 p.m. We just got to update that flyer on here. But 11 to 4 p.m., everything else is the same, 1561 Bedford Avenue. You can scan that barcode and become a sponsor. You can donate. You can either donate products as, notebooks, whatever you like to donate, or you can give a monetary donation and we'll put it toward a book bag or $50, get 2 book bags, whatever you donate, we'll put it toward that. So we have so many things going on that day. Live music, as I said, I'll be DJing, family fun, games, sports, food, giveaways. You don't want to miss this. And the auction is almost over. The auction ends for Legoland on August 1st. So we got tomorrow, the auction is over. Okay, you want to tap in for your chance to win a 4-pack for 1-day admission to Legoland. That's at the New York Resort, and it's valued at $376, but the starting bid is only $239. So you want to get in on this because you're gonna save some coins. Okay, we trying to put you on, help you save some coins. Tap in, scan that barcode, and you can go up there and put your bid in for the auction. As always, follow us on social media at Juneteenth NY. Follow our website, JuneteenthNY.com. And follow me on all social media at 5AMBG, everything, and follow my brand at I Had a Praying Grandmother. Visit I Had a Praying Grandmother.shop. Flo, once again, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Please come back whenever you're ready.
Yes.
And we're going to swing by and check you out, okay? We're going to swing by and check you out.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's our time. Until next time, next week, same time, same place. Lunch and Learn. MBG, I'm out.